joining us for another episode of the Beyond Business podcast. If you haven't done it yet, smash that subscribe button that's right underneath this video and follow us on all social media platforms. We are there. My guest today is someone who didn't just talk about building wealth, he built it. He's a U.S. Navy veteran, entrepreneur, and real estate operator who's quietly stacked an empire the right way. As the CEO and founder of, it's Yost, right?
Yost.
Yeah. Yost Enterprises. He oversees more than 56 properties, over 2,000 residential units, and roughly $244 million in assets under management. But what I respect most isn't the numbers, it's the discipline behind them, the long game, the lessons learned through mistakes, risk, and real-world pressure. Today, we're not just talking real estate, we're talking upbringing, mindset, first jobs, first deals, and what it really takes to scale without losing yourself in the process. Please welcome to the Beyond Business podcast, Mr. Jeremy Yost, and thank you for your service, brother.
Thank you, Nick. Thanks for having me today.
Yeah, it's
really
awesome.
appreciate it. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, this is going to be fun. We obviously, it didn't take long for us to figure out we're kind of on the same page. We just sat here and rambled.
Absolutely.
We just did podcast one that we didn't record. No. Where did you grow up?
So I grew up in Charleston.
Let me get that a little bit. Just pull it to you. There we go.
I grew up in Charleston, Illinois.
Okay.
And pretty much been there my whole life. My family moved to Charleston in 1989
All right.
from Metropolis, Illinois, home of Superman.
Yeah.
So my dad was from Metropolis. Was a former business administrator at Carbondale Community High School, and then was in the Department of Corrections, worked his way up, was an assistant warden. And then in 1989, we moved up to Charleston, and my dad, after he retired, decided that he was going to go into business and become an entrepreneur.
Okay.
And opened up a bar called Sticks in Charleston, partnered with John Budslick.
So how old, when this happens, how old are you?
So I was 4 when we moved, and my dad literally leveraged everything he had. My grandparents took a mortgage out on their house to help my dad with his business venture. And in the fall of 1990, opened up Sticks. And within a year, my dad was able to pay back his parents.
Nice.
And when he opened Sticks, it was more of a billiards hall. So my dad grew up in Metropolis, played pool with the likes of Buddy Hall, ran tables with him. So my dad was essentially a professional pool player. Actually, this weekend he's getting put into the Billiards Hall of Fame down in Florida. So
Really?
Pretty exciting news at 82 years old to be recognized by his peers with
that's awesome,
his work in the billiards industry. So when he opened, he had 29 professional-sized tables in there and would hold Calcuttas. And so I grew up playing pool with my dad.
So is the one here? There's a Sticks here.
Not affiliated.
Really?
I saw that probably about 6 months ago, and I go, man, that's so ironic that there's a Sticks
and
here.
And it's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've been in it.
No, I have not been.
I hadn't, and we went in, and it was like, oh, good job. Like, that's really cool. I mean, it's a big pool hall. Yeah.
And it was funny, just, growing up, everybody would be like, oh, it's like the band. And I go, no, look at the eye. It's a 9-ball.
Right.
And so the dot's a 9-ball, and they're like, oh, STIX, I get it. It's like pool sticks.
Yeah.
So that was essentially where the name came from.
Yeah.
And then through the years, he kind of modified it into a restaurant, bar.
Did you ever work there?
Yeah. So when I was 13, my dad had me sweeping floors.
Sure.
Working, helping out in the kitchen, washing dishes, kind of seeing just how things kind of flowed through there. Mm-hmm. And so at a young age, I knew expectations of hard work and not being lazy. My dad's very old school, and my mom was a hard worker. She was all of like 5'3", 100 pounds, but she'd strap on a back strap and she'd be carrying kegs and, doing things. And so we were all just very family oriented within that industry. And I guess what most people would consider crazy was my normal of growing up. I would bartenders or waitresses would pick me up from school, take me to the bar. I'd get set up in a booth, do my homework, and eventually, go home with my parents. And It was craziness, but I always had a good understanding that my dad took a big risk later on in life to better our family, and because of his long hours that he put in, I knew that's why I had a roof over my head.
Right.
So it was very inspirational to me because, there's nothing wrong with working 9 to 5 or anything like that. But seeing what he did, I knew at 5 years old, I was going to be some form of an entrepreneur.
Really?
I thought, I was going to follow in his footsteps. Maybe I'd be slinging beers behind the bar, learning that industry.
Right.
And in the mid-'90s, Governor Blagojevich put my dad on the Illinois Prisoner Review Board. And so my dad finished out a handful of extra years and retired from Department of Corrections through the Illinois Prisoner Review Board. When he got through with that, he kind of pivoted and got into affordable housing development.
So he worked a whole career. He did it.
He did it. 28 years.
And said, okay, I just got started.
Yeah, and just got
Sweet.
started.
What an
So,
amazing mind.
kind of a...
Have you talked to him? Well, I'm sure you have. Did he have that plan? You know what I mean? As he was, obviously, even if he liked his job, at some point, that's a long time. You're counting down going, couple more years, I'm out of here.
He liked his job. He really liked the part of corrections of, counseling some of the juvenile youth and helping them with programs and help getting them back.
Oh, he was impactful.
So he was impactful and wanted to always make a difference in everybody's life.
Right.
My dad didn't know a stranger. He'd go in and be able to walk a room and just kind of chat with everybody.
Right.
And, his big motto, and it still is today at 82, the joy in life is giving. If you can give back, even when there's times where you may not have it, you give back in ways that you can, whether if it's monetary or if it's your time, you give back to kind of help make a difference with people.
Yeah. The universe recognizes that too. I mean, I'll just call it the universe.
You put out good energy, and eventually it goes full circle.
This is right. This is true.
And because karma's real.
It is.
And if you're bad, it's going to come back and bite you.
Yeah, it's amazing. You're right. Your dad's right. I mean, and if you have, you have days where you probably should just go back to bed and get up all over again and start. But those days stay bad if you don't. You know what I mean? You can ruin your own party.
Absolutely. And I tell this to team members all the time, or I'll tell it to colleagues, friends, you name it. I firmly believe we can all have bad days, because we all do.
Yeah.
We're human.
Yeah.
But we have a choice. You can choose to make it better.
Right.
Or you can sit and dwell in your own pity. But I firmly believe, okay, let's find the good in something to where we can pivot. How can I turn this shitty day into something better?
Right.
How can I pivot and be better for myself, be better for my business partners, be better for my team members?
Right.
And so we all have a choice. I always try to choose the happier route and try to pivot. A lot of my team members, they call me Positive Polly.
Oh.
Because I always try to find the good in everything, and where something can be bad, okay, well, let's find the good.
Right.
Where can we make this bad issue go positive?
Right.
How can we get to that? Let's put our heads together, because it's a lot better being happy than it is being sad.
Well, just being the key is most people don't think about it. They just go through a day and it sucked. It's
they
like
dwell.
Yeah, if you have the just awareness to go, okay, that's usually enough to go, wait, let me shake that off. Like, I don't want my day to continue to go. But yeah, you have to, they dwell and they just go, poor me, man.
Yeah. And, we have our moments, and I could tell you, I probably easily, have my moments where I break down. I shed tears plenty of times throughout the week, throughout the month,
Right.
where just stress builds up. Sometimes, man, you got to release it, let it flow a little bit, and then you know what? You usually feel better.
Yeah.
You get that release out and kind of, and find your areas that help make you feel better.
Right.
So for me, I religiously go to the gym.
Yeah.
And that's my outlet.
Right.
I love getting that feeling of a good pump.
Yeah.
It just kind of helps decompress.
Yeah.
And I was very avid into CrossFit for a while, and now I kind of just focus on, functional bodybuilding. And it really helps me because being in a high impact, high stress environment where it's not so much that I'm doing manual labor, but I never know what's going to happen, throughout our day with any of our buildings or any of our people. And you've got individuals from all walks of life that you work with and your coworkers. You never know what kind of issues they might be having at home that might be affecting the day-to-day of their job. Hey,
Right.
What can I do to make your job better? What can I do to help you out? Or do you have enough resources? So it's making sure that you're available and you're supporting each other and trying to build a positive environment. And that's something that I learned from my mom and my dad, is you want to create a positive environment for people to be around, because if you're not creating that, you're going to have negativity everywhere and things aren't going to get done.
Right. So when you say you've referenced a couple times things that you've learned from your parents, did you learn them by instruction, or you're like, no, I was just there. I grew up. You know what I mean? Did you learn because that was kind of, you're just watching, or was there ever the time where it was like, okay, here is how this has to be and here is why? Or, or did you discover it as you went about your life going, okay, these are valuable and here's why?
So lots of lectures.
Okay.
Hearing it. I didn't understand it at the time, but as I continually got older, got a little more mature, certain things would pop up or things would happen, and I'd go back and be like, oh, I get what mom and dad were talking about.
Right.
Or navigate through something, and I would understand it because, my dad always said it's so important to build bridges, not burn them. You burn a bridge, you never know. You might cross that individual 15 years down the road, and if you burned them, you're not going to be able to network with them.
Right.
They may hold a grudge.
Sure.
And water may not be under the bridge.
Right.
So a lot of it was lessons that I learned just listening, and then finding out when I got older. It was like something that was planted deep in my head, and until the situation arose and happened,
It made sense.
and kind of went full circle and going,
glad I made the choice to
they were really
handle that situation.
Yeah, they were really right. Oh my gosh. And so, I try to push that onto my kids too, because everything kind of changes with time.
Yeah.
And when you can look back and reflect, and, I'd recently turned 40, and I feel like, I'm middle-aged essentially, because if you think about it, 38 is probably middle-aged with the average male life expectancy.
Right.
So you look at it, I'm going, okay, first chapter of my life, I think I did all right. I've got some things to build on and some goals to where I could do better. And I'm grateful to be where I'm at today, but I'm where I'm at today because I had great leadership growing up with my parents and, some of my dad's business partners, especially John Budslick from Carbondale. He's like a second dad to me, and the values that they instilled in me, I utilize every single day.
Right. So what kind of, in school, when you were in high school, what kind of student were you? I mean, were you an athlete or were you
up until middle school, I was pretty much almost a straight A student, honor roll. Got into middle school, played sports. Middle school, I was on basketball team, 7th grade. Did basketball and wrestling all throughout growing up. And then 8th grade, I decided I was going to stick with wrestling. Did swim team and football. So, I was very active, involved in sports. I wasn't the greatest by any means, but I always, made the team and did my part where I could.
Hey, everybody, I want to take a quick second to let you know that the Beyond Business Studio swag store is officially open. Click the link in the description or scan this QR code to get your apparel game on point and rep Beyond Business. We got hats, hoodies, t-shirts, tank tops, and everything else. Several logos to choose from. Scan and customize yours today. I also want to shout out the partners who help make Beyond Business possible. First up is Dubby Energy Drink. If you're grinding, creating, training, or just need clean energy without the crash, Dubby is my go-to. No sugar, no spikes, no nonsense, just focus, endurance, and clarity. Head over to dubby.gg and use code BeyondBiz at checkout to get 10% off your order. That's BeyondBiz. Support the show and fuel the hustle at the same time. Oakwood Screen Printing. These gals are the real deal when it comes to custom apparel. Direct to film, silk screening, embroidering, heat transferring, you name it, they do it. And they don't just put it on clothing, they put it on anything. Whether you're in need of a small custom run or a massive order, Oakwood Screen Printing handles it all. Fast, professional, and top tier quality. If you've got a brand, a business, a team, or an idea, they'll bring it to life. Check them out at oakwoodscreenprinting.com. And finally, Midwest Lightning Rods, protecting homes, businesses, and critical infrastructures from lightning strikes across the Midwest. This isn't just another contractor, this is decades of experience, code-compliant systems, and real protection where it matters most. When lightning strikes, preparation makes the difference. Learn about how you can become part of the community that's been protected by MLR at lightningstrikes-weprotect.com. As always, when you support these companies, you're supporting Beyond Business. If you haven't done it yet, I urge you to hit that subscribe button right below this post and follow the Beyond Business page on all your social media platforms that you follow. Now, let's dive back into it.
Could, and as a decent wrestler, I was, on varsity as a freshman. Did okay. Again, wasn't great, but learned a lot of good values. And
academically, were you good?
Academically, I would put myself for high school. I was like BC.
Okay.
So I got by high school. I was never on the honor roll. I definitely struggled through school. High school, I excelled in the reading and writing. A lot of the mathematics and science stuff I struggled with. And it wasn't so much that it was so difficult. I knew mentally, I'm never going to use this. So that was my struggle of, well, I don't understand why I'm having to do this, because I don't think outside of basic math and having some Excel sheets that I'm probably going to utilize any of it. How's it going to get me to where I want to be?
It's funny how that works, isn't it? If you want to learn something, it's pretty easy to learn. If you don't, it's really hard to learn.
It is. And you know what? I push my kids hard in school, and I want them to do well and do better than I do, and both of them do. Yeah. I'm very, very blessed in that aspect. They're both very intelligent. My daughter's a sophomore in high school at Normal Community West, and my son is in 5th grade. And he's about every other quarter straight A student. Usually only has like 1 B.
Sure. Does
a good job. Daughter's very similar on the honor roll and does a great job. So I'm very, very blessed with 2 very disciplined kids. Yep. And, school is important. After high school, let me reel it back a little bit. We got off on a little tangent, but I was working in sticks, sweeping floors.
Sure.
So then when I turned 15, my dad said, if you're not in sports, when you're in your off seasons, you got to get your work permit. So I got a work permit at 15 and worked at a grocery store. That was my first quote unquote, paid job with a paycheck. And
it's because that's just how it is, right?
Yeah, I rode my bike.
Yeah.
I rode my bike to the store. I'd hook my bike up to the bike rack. I'd work my 8 hours and get my paycheck and go home. And it was bagging groceries, working a register, facing cans.
Yeah.
I tell you, there's nothing cool about facing cans, and especially when you're colorblind. You don't know exactly what all your I knew what the logos were supposed to be, but if somebody's like, oh, how do you explain whatever brand this is? And I'm like, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I think it's blue. Yeah. Might be green. I don't know. So, it's one of those things. But
there's a carrot on the can of carrots. Just look for the carrot.
Yeah. I don't know what brand you're exactly looking for, but they're pretty much all the same.
That's great.
So my dad instilled those values. And if I wasn't in a sport, I was working. And had to pay my car insurance and pay my gas, do all of that. And if, during sports season, then he would help me out. And then when I got my license, I lifeguarded. And did that for a handful of summers, and started junior college at Lakeland after high school. Over in Mattoon, Illinois. And at that point, my dad had sold the bar and had gotten into real estate development. And had some apartment complexes that he had developed. And I saw, man, my dad's gained some time back. Okay, I really like this. Real estate seems pretty cool, but I need something different.
What was your goal in college? Just get an associate's degree and then figure it out from there?
I wasn't sure. I knew that
You're supposed to go to school now.
Yeah, I just thought that was the way, and it was, one of those things that I knew I had to get a degree.
So did you finish it?
No. I decided I needed to join the Navy because I wanted to get away.
Yeah.
So I joined the Navy, and when I went to my A school training, I was in Meridian, Mississippi.
Okay.
And I was a personnel specialist, so I did like pay and finance, accounting, that kind of stuff, and made my wish list. And, it was like San Diego, Hawaii, I think Jacksonville, Florida, and maybe Rhoda, Spain. I got my orders, and it said, you're going to Great Lakes, Illinois. So I was stationed in North Chicago for 4 years. I had shore duty. And so I literally got sent back to Illinois and got up there, checked in, and made the best of my 4 years in the Navy. I went to school full-time, and I ended up, while on active duty, I did get my bachelor's degree through University of Phoenix.
Okay. Looking back, was that a good move?
It was the best thing that ever happened to me.
Great.
Because while I didn't get to go see a world,
Sure.
I didn't get to even see a ship.
You didn't get to do what you signed up for.
No, I didn't. But I made the best of my time, and I made sure that I was going to be the hardest worker in the room.
Okay.
For 3 of the 4 years, I was Sailor of the Year for my command, and 2 years I was runner-up for Navy Region Midwest Sailor of the Year.
Okay.
And so I was driven. I wanted it to be the best at what I could possibly do, and I always knew that the Navy was going to be my stepping stone. I wasn't going to do 20 years. I was going to do my 4 and done. I had brief thoughts about going to officer candidate school. And the Navy, and I believe it's still this way to this day, they don't advance you based on performance. You have to take a written test to advance. So I struggled with leadership because, being an enlisted sailor and having a bachelor's degree and having to report to people that, I essentially was doing their jobs.
Right.
I struggled with, and, I didn't necessarily have a voice being an enlisted sailor. I would go through my chain of command and just be like, okay, well, here's everything that I'm doing. Here's the reports I'm processing. I'm essentially doing their job, and they're getting highlighted for it, but I'm the go-getter hard worker that's doing everybody else's job.
You're like, ah.
And I just said, I loved it for what it was because it instilled a good work ethic. I still wake up super early every day for the most part, and I get more done than most people by 8 o'clock by starting early. And I knew when I got out at 23, I was going to, go on to bigger and better things. And I knew as I was getting out that I wanted to go to the real estate route.
Is it you were in tune with your dad, just see how it was going? Is that kind of was it? As you're going, man, this is going to be the move right
That was
here.
going to be the move. So I got out and worked with him and my mom actually in one of his apartment complexes. It was a 100-unit, 55 and older Section 8 building for seniors.
Dude, not to interrupt you, but how cool is that it went from dad retires, you're sweeping the floor, mom and dad are busting their humps, doing their own, business venture. And then 10 years later, same story, different business venture. Yeah, that's really cool. Whole nother level, though.
It was really cool because I was able to. My mom passed away in 2010, so I got a couple years where I got to work with my mom before she passed away, and she was very young. She's only 62, but I was fortunate enough. I got out, I'd say, at the right time. Because I got, a couple years with my mom, and she was able to be there to see my daughter being born, and that was her first granddaughter. So that was a great moment for me, but it did go full circle of going in and, starting to work with him. And
you're like, I got something to bring to the table now.
And now I've got something to bring to the table. Yeah. And Dad still had me sweeping floors.
Hell yeah, you did.
And doing everything and learning all aspects of how the property management side was and how to operate an apartment complex, because a lot of developers that do real estate, they're developers. they're not operators.
Right.
So they actually don't know how to work with the tenants. They don't know what kind of goes on day to day in some of the buildings. They're numbers, and they want to, cut where we can cut. They want the cash flow. They don't understand the
How to get
operational
there.
side of things. So learning that, it was very, very interesting, and getting put in certain situations of, how to handle things, and kind of learning all aspects of that full management side, and got to a point where I told my dad, I said, hey, I'm bored. I think I've got this down. I want to do something different. And he said, well, save your money. Well, what do you mean? He said, if you want to do real estate, you've got to have skin in the game. You've got to be able to, save your money and go out and do it. I'm not going to give you any handouts, because that's not how the real world works. He goes, if I give you something, what are you going to get out of it? Maybe you take it and you run, but it's a handout.
Mm.
I'm not going to give you a handout. I'm going to give you an opportunity, and I'm going to teach you and give you knowledge, but it's on you to take that and you to save your own money to get in there and do your own thing.
Right.
And my dad is still, to this day, we talk every single day on the phone, and I would not be where I'm at today without him, because of how he set everything up. He made me work for it. He made me go out and get my own loans. He made me go do my things so I could experience it, the hard times, the good times, and have that real feeling of, oh shit, I did this.
Yeah.
And it all started with one rental, and I saw, the couple properties that my dad had. He was paying another company to operate the properties, and that gave me the idea to create Yost Management Services. And I'm going, if I got a property here, I can continue to grow and go out and get my own contracts and develop a portfolio. And then when my mom passed away, my dad decided that he was going to leave Central Illinois and spend his time down at the Villages, Florida, where him and my mom had a house.
He said, man, let me go ahead. Let me snowbird permanently.
Yeah,
huh?
so he
Heck
just
yeah.
said, this is where I'm going to go grieve, and I want to spend my retirement years down there. And if you want to do something, now's your time to sink or swim. Mm. And so we had a couple projects that we were working in on, and I helped see them through to finish, got them leased up, saved money, bought a couple other small properties, and then eventually, over the course of several years, then I eventually bought into his holding company. Yeah. And then developed on my own. But with my small portfolio that I had, I was just building relationships. So the first large unit that I bought was in Rantoul, Illinois. It was an 80-unit property, and I didn't have the 20% down.
Right.
I was able to go to a bank, and they're like, "Yeah, if you can come up with the 20%, we'll do the loan. It seems like a good deal." So I was able to go to the owners of the building and just said, "Hey, look, I've got this loan, but I need some help. Will you do some seller financing?" So they decided to do a 20% note for me.
Oh.
And so I was able to do that. And then my second deal that I went out and bought, I did the same thing. It was a 151 unit. And I was able to get a bank, and then I was able to
so essentially no money.
Essentially, yeah.
I mean, it's money,
but
it's not. You didn't have money.
I had to spend the money for the reports and stuff, and do the due diligence and all of that. And, I ended up holding those until just pre-COVID, and built several properties in between, and was able to sell those for a profit. And
the big units?
All of them, yeah.
Oh.
I just coupled them together, and a couple of properties that I had bought from my dad, coupled like 5 of them together, had some good money saved, and ended up rolling it in 2018 into a new construction project to build a Hilton Garden Inn in Mattoon with a convention center.
Oh.
So I was able to do that, and still had probably another 15 apartment complexes that I still had. So, it started with one, and you just learn the game of leverage and save where you can and find good deals, because not every deal is going to pencil out. Or I've had several deals where I'm getting close to the closing table and somebody came in with cash and they were able to close the deal and I lost it. And that's the thing with like real estate people need to understand, there's always another deal out there.
Right.
You don't have to put, all your cards in one place and expect that, no, this is the end all be all. There's always another transaction.
Yeah.
So
I want to back up for a second. Something, I just think this is really, really valuable. So your dad did something, a lot of things, because when you just went through kind of the lessons, how your dad taught you, I'm not going to hand you freebies, even if that would, you being in the spot at the time, you're going, oh, I'm okay with you give it. Let's go. I would love it. Come on. And he's like, no. You're like, damn, this could be so easy. You have it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but it was a lesson.
Yes. And what he did that our generation as parents are not doing very good at is we want to, lighten the blow of life on our kids. And we think that if I have it, then you have it, is a good way to do it. And that's not the case at all. The valuable thing is if you don't teach your kids how to earn, how to hurt, how to bounce back, you know what I mean? The least valuable thing you can give your kids is money. That's crazy. And I'm not saying don't, but I just, the value in, because there was a point, I have a 15-year-old son too. And there was a point in time where I was like, we had to go get jobs and I was mowing grass and I was doing all this shit. I lived by a golf course, walk around the outside, pick up the balls, go sell them.
Yeah.
But I did that because, at least I thought, because I wanted some cash. You know what I mean? And it was like, yeah, because there's we're not giving you, we get paid on Friday. We're not giving you money, dude. If you want to get it, go get it. Well, I go, maybe because we were broke. And it's like, no, that wasn't the case. Mm-hmm. It's because you want to spend some money, so you need to get some money. But I think my whole reason for going back to it is I think our generation did a weird thing because, I know a lot of people who are successful and, they lighten the blow of life on their kids rather than letting them live. You don't have to go get a job because I got you. I'll give you my credit card and you can do whatever. And it goes, but the people you meet, the way you learn to interact, the way you learn to steer clear of people you don't like, the way everything you learn outside of a paycheck, every little job is very, very valuable. You know what I'm saying?
It is.
And everything you named from, bagging groceries to going to Lakeland to Styx to going up to Chicago, you're learning people the whole time. You know what I mean? That is the most valuable thing, is being able to learn a room and navigate through it. Hats off to your dad. I just took that back because that's all I was thinking. I was like, damn, that's a good, a lot of people could take something from that.
Oh, absolutely. And, it's not like I had a bad childhood or anything like that. I had a great childhood, wonderful environment to grow up around, and I'm able to provide a similar environment for my kids.
Yes.
And while I'm sure in some aspects they're spoiled to a certain extent, but I always try to at times reel back and point out certain things of, okay, I've got them set up with like some green light accounts.
Yep.
That way they can kind of get an idea of how to manage their money.
Yeah,
or,
same.
hey, I'm going to
allocate. Really cool.
I'm going to allocate this much amount for your gas, and this will help you out. But once sports are over with, you got to get a job.
Right.
You got to do this. I'll help you budget. Or if you're putting away for savings, hey, this is the importance of, hey, here's a money market account.
Yeah.
Let's invest some of this so you can get compound interest. And if you put away so much, when you're 18, maybe you've got $10,000 or $12,000 that you've banked away, and teaching them the importance of what money can do for you long term is so important.
Dude, there's people who are retired that have no idea how money works.
Yeah.
So that is that green light account, same thing. How cool is that? That it's like,
I wish I had that as a kid.
Like you're learning about this stuff.
Because they can literally get on their phone, and my son checks it all the time with his stocks. He's 11.
Yeah.
And he's like, Dad, I'm up 6%.
Yeah.
I go, just leave it there.
Right.
He goes, well, can I put more in? I go, absolutely.
Yeah.
You've got a savings account. If you want to move money over, this is how you transfer it. Because they can put money in,
right,
and move it in, but they can't take it out.
Okay.
So I've got that little control over it because I want them to know, hey, here's this. This is, here's all your chores. You knock this out, this is what you're going to get weekly for what you've done.
Right.
Or incentivize, like, hey, for every A you get on your report card, I'll give you $20.
Right.
Utilize that and kind of incentivize to where, my son, for example, saved up for a year and bought this new MetaQuest 3 VR headset.
Heck yeah.
But it was his biggest purchase that he made with his money, and
it's a whole different ball game.
He was so proud, and he goes, I did that. And I said, yeah, you did do that. I said, that was you. So it's instilling that good feelings. And so when my kids are like, I want to be rich someday, so when I'm rich, I want A, B, and C of this. And I go, well, how are you going to do it?
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Even to be able to have the conversation is so cool,
and just kind of trigger different ideas to see where they're at, because I don't necessarily want them to come work with me.
Right.
There's an opportunity there that they could come work. But again, and I've told this to them several times, you're going to have the same route I had. You're going to have an opportunity. You can work.
Yeah.
But if you want to get to where you're owning something, you got to have skin in the game.
Yeah.
And you've got to do it the long, hard way. But the opportunity is always there, but you just got to be the one to grind it out.
How cool is it to go, who knows where they'll land?
Never know.
You know what I mean? Just to sit back and go, you could be in such a different, and yeah, who knows? Yeah, you're young, your boy, 10 years. That's the world. Yeah.
Yeah, you never know. And he's so creative. He says he's going to be a developer. And I said, kudos to you if that's what you want to do. You've got an opportunity, but you got to get there. And, even when he was 9 and 10, he started asking those questions of, well, Dad, who's your boss?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, the banks.
Right. Yeah. Don't get it twisted.
So I'm like, I go, the banks. And he goes, so you work for banks? I know nobody. I work for myself, but I have loans on properties. So I have to make sure properties stay full. So I collect the rent. That covers the banks.
Right.
And then I said, if there's any money left over, that's how Dad gets paid.
Right.
And so he was kind of getting that in his head at a younger age and understanding that, so people pay, and then whatever.
You pay, there's some left.
Yeah, and so he's kind of getting that mindset. He asks a lot of questions. My daughter's the same way, and they're trying to figure things out. And like you just said, 10 years from now, they could be doing something completely different.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
You just never know. But the idea's there. The questions are beginning to get asked.
Yeah.
And, my
well,
son's
dude, they can take that anywhere, though.
Oh,
you know what I mean? The
yeah.
wisdom, yeah. That's the stuff that no matter what they do, it's.
Oh, and my son's been going to city council meetings with me since he was like 5 when I go to do different projects. So, he gets an idea of kind of what goes on at those meetings, and he just listens intently. And then on the ride home, he's like, boy, Dad, that seemed like that was really rough on you. I said, buddy, it's part of it. You just you're not going to get everything you want when you go do these things.
So this is kind of a random question, but I like the question. What do you think, just based on what you see in humanity or whatever, in life from people, what do you think the number one thing people should unlearn about money?
Unlearn?
Yeah. What do you think that people are stuck, that they believe or they're stuck on, that you're like, yeah, that's not how it works? Whether it be like a lot of people say a lot of people go, don't use credit cards. It's a bad thing. To where some people go, oh, don't use your money ever. What are you doing? Use, or you know what I mean?
Yeah,
what thing are people kind of stuck on? Or
well, you get like
stock
your Dave
market's
Ramsey's
scary,
of the world
or-
that cashes
Yes.
everything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I live off debt. I'm a real estate developer, and I manipulate debt to make my living.
Yeah.
And so I don't think debt's a bad thing, because you go through the aspect of the real estate side of things where you pick up depreciation and that offsets taxes. So why wouldn't I want to go buy something and use other people's money to
Right.
make money?
Yes.
And so
Yeah, that's the scariest thing. People hate the idea, but you're
Yeah.
going, no, it's not.
no,
It's
and
controlled debt.
It's controlled. It's not like I'm going out and just maxing out credit cards left and right. There's your bad debt. That's where, the positivity of the Dave Ramseys in the world of, hey, cash is king, set up a budget,
Right.
use cash for everything. Well, eventually our society is going to go to a cashless. We're going to be all
Right.
on cards or some sort of cryptocurrency eventually.
Retina
At some
scan.
point. Something. Yeah, exactly. It's airports are already
Debit
doing
or
the scans.
credit,
Yeah, exactly. I'll wink twice for credit. So it's one of those things that I think debt's great. I probably will always have debt.
Yeah.
I don't ever plan to get out of debt business-wise, because in real estate, I'm an individual. I'm not a large corporation. I'm not going to have an equity company that just has the cash to just go out and buy things. So debt's not a bad thing. You just have to make smart choices with the assets that you're trying to purchase with that debt to make sure that you can service your loans and cover everything.
Yeah.
And you're seeing it now where debt could have been bad with the fallout of the '08 recession. A lot of those low interest loans are beginning to come due. A lot of developers that I've seen nationwide in my readings and just being observant to the markets that not only that we operate in, but a lot of my colleagues and where they operate in, a lot of those developers had deals that penciled out at like 2%. Well, those loans come due and they're going to go up to 6-8%. They're beginning to not pencil out anymore, and they're upside down on their loans because they started out over leveraged. And so that's where smart debt is good, where if you can pencil out a deal at 5.5 to 7.5%, if the numbers work, well, great. If rates start to drop, even better.
Right.
Your debt service coverage is going to go up. So it really just depends on the situation of what you want to do with it.
Well, so the valuable thing is there's a lot of people who have either good ideas or good opportunities, but they say, I don't have the money. And so that ends their plan. Opportunity is going to get away. It's like, no, false. Stop being scared of debt and learn that that's what successful people do.
Do the research on what you want to do.
Right.
And even for my first complex that I did, lender, I was a little over leveraged, but the lender was willing to work with me and I was willing to take the risk, but I had to write a business plan.
Right.
I had to pros and cons. What happens if the economy gets bad? I get in a rut. So I had to have certain monies set aside through proper reserves to protect myself, and probably for the most part for the bank too, because they were taking a risk on me as an individual who hadn't had a pot to piss in yet.
Right.
And it worked out. But the banks will work with you if you have a plan, and it starts at your local community levels. If you want to go out to a nationwide bank, it's going to be a lot tougher. Start locally.
Do you have that? I mean, do you now have you built a relationship with like a certain bank that you're like, they were there for me and now I'm there for them and I'll never do anything else? Or are you I feel that
I've got good relationships with multiple banks. I think it's always good to have.
Sure.
I do have a go-to bank, and that they have been there, and their lending officer, I wouldn't be where I'm at today without him.
It's probably pretty cool for him to even you guys
him know that
be able
often,
to see that it works.
And when we do things, all the properties that we've got, we bank with them, and so benefits the bank too, because they have those cash on deposits, and that's a win-win for the bank too. So
Okay.
you're building a relationship with them by bringing the properties that we onboard. You know, banks hold cash. They have cash on hand. It's
Right.
good for the bank too.
So are you in a business where, I mean, you have some moves you make are bad moves that you figure out later, or are you pretty sure? That's what I kind of wanted to ask, what was like, the biggest pain that you hit, whether it was buying something that didn't work out, or whether it was, and what would be the reason for it? Was it jumping the gun? Was it, you know what I mean? I don't know if there's.
Ironically enough, at 40 years old, I'm extremely blessed as a developer that I've never had a Chapter 11,
Bam.
I've not had a bankruptcy, and neither has my father, neither has our partner. That
proper
we've
due
worked with.
diligence,
So
man.
it's all about due diligence. Now, has
Yeah.
everything gone right? Hell no.
Right.
Not everything goes right. You know, I
Right.
could probably write a book on all the developments that I've done over the last 17 or so years, because each and every single one of them has their own headaches.
Sure.
And where you've got to pivot, do something different, and to make it work. But I firmly believe, as an entrepreneur, you put into something and you're going to get out what you're going to get out of it.
Right.
And so everything that I do, that I push forward and say, okay, this is what I want to do, I'm going to try to see it through.
Okay.
And I put everything I have in it, and I don't think of any other option but winning. Because I feel when you think about the other option, that other option is going to happen. So I just choose.
There's no room.
I choose not to think about that. I know in my gut what it is, but I don't think about it. Because if I do, then that thought of something going wrong could really, really happen. Now, that's just me.
You don't even give it the power.
I don't give it the power
love it,
because
dude.
I want to put good vibes out there, and just I trust my instinct. And if I'm going to do it, I'm going to go balls to the wall, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it really well. And if there's something that pops up, if occupancy drops, all right, we're going to pivot. We're going to do this. Let's go do, a marketing blitz and get our numbers back up.
Yeah.
You just find where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
And so that's just kind of been my motto of there's just no option to fail.
Boom. I love it, dude. No, that's great. I mean, and yeah, the staying the positive vibe, or not allowing, not allowing the bullshit to even enter is the way to go.
And here's a prime example of something that nearly bankrupted me. COVID.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah. Hard to stay positive a little bit
Mattoon,
sometimes.
Illinois, I have a 102 key Hilton Garden Inn with a convention center.
Okay.
2018.
You
everything,
built it?
Built it.
Yeah.
And I had my general contractor built
Sure,
it.
sure.
We own and operate it.
Yeah.
And when COVID happened, our bank took our loan away, and they were using ownership's equity first, so their money hadn't hit, so they could pull their loan. So there we are. COVID-19 happens. We lose our loan, and the first $6 million we had to fund out of pocket. Thankfully, we were able to have a roof over it, so we didn't have some extra lumber costs. You know, we had a very thin skeleton crew that kind of, worked through those, call it 18 months or so. And we had offers of people coming in to just buy us out, to get rid of it. And so I spent 5 days a week for 18 months calling lenders, worldwide equity providers, anybody that I could. And Mattoon's a very rural tertiary market, and they would say, well, hospitality might be dead for the next 5 years. Chicago, St. Louis, these markets are hurting. New York City, it's like a ghost town. Trying to explain to larger institutionalized investors or lenders, well, our rural tertiary market isn't really affected in the sense that we haven't really shut down. Things are still going on. Things are still moving in central Illinois, where the need is still there. The traffic count is there. So 303 phone calls later, I got a yes.
300 phone calls.
303. That's my number. And finally got a yes, and ended up being a local bank in Pana, Illinois. And they came in and did the financing, and we opened in 2022, and we've been rocking and rolling ever since.
Dude.
And it's one of those things that I think
You didn't give up, bro.
Didn't give up. And it's one of those things that, my dad told me. He said, probably everybody else, 99 out of 100 people probably would have given up. And he goes, you didn't. And
Dude, they would have made 20 calls.
So it was
303 calls.
303.
That's what I'm talking about, dude.
And so I didn't see it any other way because, one,
you're like, I would have called 600. So
I would have just
good thing
I just would have kept going because I didn't see any other way. I knew how good of a project it was, and I knew it was.
You were right.
It was an anchor
Feels good
for our area.
Right.
Blue Cross Blue Shield built a big corporate office behind us. HSHS came in, and then Rural Kings headquarters is in Mattoon, and they're huge in our community. They give back so much.
Yeah.
And Mattoon and Coles County is very blessed to be able to have a family company like Rural King there. They just helped bring in this $70-80 million sports complex, Emerald Acres.
Oh, yeah.
And that's literally changed Coles County's landscape. It's forever changed Mattoon. And with what they've done to the community, it's phenomenal because now there's massive strip malls. There's 2 more hotels under construction. The outdoor facility is going to open this summer. And something like that is, game changing for a small area like us. But, we've got Interstate 57 that runs right through Charleston, Mattoon. And with Eastern Illinois University and Lakeland Community College in Mattoon, it's a real blessing because the foot traffic, the taxes, everything that comes in behind it, it really puts us on the map. And it started with that development was the anchor because we didn't have a convention center in the area.
Right.
And bringing a Hilton Garden Inn really, really helped. And it was just very pivotal. And for our family who has been in business in Coles County for over 30 years to be able to help and give back to the community a beautiful asset that everyone can be proud of was just the grit behind it, knowing what was going to happen next.
Yeah. So you're an instinct guy, huh? Is that what it is? I mean, when you go into a project, what counts? Is it numbers? Is it people? Is it instinct? You know what I mean? Obviously numbers have to be in order or you don't really go any further. But do you feel like a lot of your thing is just going off if you feel it, or if you're like, I felt it enough to commit, so there's no other way? Is it?
Yeah, it's that instinct of this will work.
Right.
And you just kind of know. And obviously to make it work, it's got to pencil out. But when you feel good about it, if the numbers look good, then you just know that you get a good feeling. You go and you check out your site. And I've had plenty of opportunities where I've gone to multiple locations where the numbers looked good, but it didn't feel right.
Okay.
Something was off.
And you got to go with that.
And I just said, okay, well, I don't think this is for me. Oh, well, the numbers look good. And I said, yeah, but there's just something off, and it's just not for me. And so I kind of just base it off of that. I get a feeling. And, I had a property a few months ago. I was up in Kalamazoo, Michigan.
Uh-huh.
And everything felt right. The one thing that felt off, I just felt somebody else was going to come in. And somebody else came in and offered cash. And we didn't get the deal. And I just said, I knew it was something. I didn't know what it was because I liked everything about the property penciled out. But I felt like somebody bigger was going to come in and get it. And that's what happened. And that's okay because, again, like I said earlier, there's always another deal.
Right.
And it's just being patient.
Well, yeah, I think the people putting all their eggs in one basket is another pretty popular thing. So I think your train of thought or your mindset on going, every project has its own headaches, which I think every project in any trade probably has their own headaches, but expecting them rather than letting it deter you, you know what I mean? Like expecting the pivot or being prepared to go, of course, it didn't go how we thought. That's not how this works. It's so important. Because I think headaches, 300 phone calls, shit like that. That is what make people tap out, dude.
Yeah, it
It's
does.
what makes.
I double mortgaged my home. I emptied every bank account I had.
Yes.
And I was all in because I believed in it. And, when it came through fruition, I knew in the back of my head that I was young enough that I could start over.
Right.
But I wasn't going to let it happen. If I had any control over it, I was going to go balls to the wall until I just couldn't.
Right.
And it worked out, but I never doubted that it was a bad project by any means. And it's just, like I said, it's that mindset. Right.
So do you teach or mentor, or do you do something like that also?
I speak.
Okay.
Fairly often over the last couple of years. I'll go discuss at. I do a lot of BizNow events with property management, real estate development. I do Midwest conferences.
And what are you doing? Educating peers, or
some of them are panel speaking, where each individual that's up there speak to their markets, and I'm usually the rural guy, and it's a different take, kind of blows everybody else's minds, because essentially you're going to the Chicagos, the St. Louis, the larger areas and speaking, and I'm kind of like a country bumpkin coming in.
Right.
And we operate so much different than these larger scale companies because we're still a mom and pop shop. We don't have an equity provider that's got our back. It's
right.
For our management company, it's myself and my business partner, Amber Hendrickson. So everything falls on our two shoulders to lead our team, to make sure our team members are taken care of. So we have to be have a conservative approach to a certain extent with the different ventures that we get into.
Right. So how do you see, or maybe it's already started, how do you see AI changing or benefiting your industry?
If you don't use it, you're not going to be relevant. And it's one of those things,
call.
Both Amber and I utilize it day to day. We implement it with our team. And prior to me being here today, my Young Presidents organization that I belong to, I hosted an AI summit at my convention center. And so we had David Perellis come in from St. Louis, and he's an AI expert, and did an AI training for our YPO chapter, and explaining the various apps that are out there, the ever-changing of the industries, and that basically, over the course of the next 5 years, healthcare is going to be forever changed. Your doctors are going to be AI.
Right.
They're going to be utilizing everything. So if, healthcare is going to go through a dynamic change, you damn well know real estate's going to go through a massive change, and we're seeing it day to day, and we've been using it already for the past 4 years. And so I feel like we're, Central Illinois-wise, we're a little ahead of the game. I've built my own GPTs to help our team members, where it's, our employee handbooks, our HR, so they've got reference if there's something that they need to look up in our system. Hey, how do I input a tenant security deposit within our software? Boom, that GPT gives step-by-step instructions to where they know how to do it. So they know, okay, I can look in my screen here, I go here. So what does that do for us? Well, it buys back our time. So we're not spending direct one-on-one time directly training. And of course, we still do that, but maybe it saves 3 hours a week.
Oh, yeah.
Of having that. So then I went and created another one. I did it a step-by-step guide for accounting, and got that taken care of. And to where it's step-by-step guide of kind of getting them to where they know what they're doing. And, hey, I've got a question on how to do this if we're not available. So our next step then is we went a little further and started using a Loom for video recording for trainings. And, I don't mind meeting with team members, but if there's no, I'll call it attachment, then there's no memo. So I don't want to just have a meeting to have a meeting, because 9 times out of 10, you're not going to solve anything.
Right.
Let's give me an attachment. What's the issue? let's tackle this. How can we tackle it? Well, I can record a video and I can tell you this, and then I can shoot it to you, and I can still be productive on this side, because if I go out and spend this time on this, are we actually going to go through and get it solved? Probably not. We'll
Right.
talk through it. Maybe it'll make you feel a little bit better, but when I can give you the direct context of how to do something and fix it, it saves time, everybody time, and you can be more effective, because time is money.
Yeah.
And that's where I love AI and have that, because I can have individual projects that I save and I can build the information into it. So anytime I go into that specific project GPT, all right, hey, here's my issue with this, with the files that we've got in here. I need to run scenarios of A, B, and C. Then it'll spit out different options. And it's kind of like brainstorming, but it's
Yes.
something that you've built in. And then I can go and hop on another sheet and pump out the information that I need and work smarter, not harder.
Right.
And, you know, for me, and I broke it down today to the group, you know, utilizing AI for me has freed up my time in terms of about, say, 15, 16 hours a week. So what is that, about 800 hours a year extra?
Yeah, some time.
Which is great. But like you and I were talking before off the record, I'll fill it with shit,
Yeah,
just like
it's
most
just how
people
it
do.
goes,
And
yeah.
you're still just as busy. But I found myself, you know, it's to a point where I'm blessed where I could take my son to school every day. I, for the most part, pick him up every day from school.
Yeah.
And I have that freedom to be able to do that because of the way how I've built my company.
Yeah.
And I owe a lot of that to my dad making that pivot in the 2000s of really diving into real estate, because maybe I would have done something else, but seeing how he had more free time, I knew that my most important job was being a dad,
Right.
because when you're an entrepreneur, it ties into your family. It is part of that number one, because that business is what provides for the family and takes care of everybody. So making sure that that's taken care of, I can take care of my kids, but I can also be a good dad to them and mentor them and just be present.
Right.
And that was something that growing up I didn't always have, where my mom and dad would be working. My grandma lived with us. I had great people around me, and I understood at a young age why my parents did. I understood the why.
Right.
And, you know, part of the thing is where I got to where I was and hit a certain point, and my dad said, "Hey, you got it without me telling you." And I said, "What?" He said, "You're able to be a different kind of dad than what I was."
Right.
And my dad was the best dad ever, in my
No,
opinion. I have
yeah.
no qualms, no issues, but I get to be a little more present in my kids' stuff. I don't miss anything.
Right.
For, you know, my daughter lives an hour and a half away, so I do miss a lot of her things. It's hard with her living further away, but I can still be present.
Right.
And it's one of those things that I am so grateful for, because as a dad, to be able to be a part of your kids' lives and be impactful to them and be a power of positivity to them
Right.
goes beyond anything else.
Oh, for sure. And so, I mean, I've definitely been guilty of it. And you saying you understood the why, I think that's what's kind of let me still let my work spill over into time that should be doing other things, is because I have a kid that's like, "Dude, I get it." And I'm like, "Yeah, that shouldn't make it okay." You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know
It does
exactly.
make it okay, kind. You know what I mean? He's like, "I get it, dude. I mean, you don't have to act like you don't have shit to do." And it's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I'll take that.
They get the grind.
Yeah. So I like that. But your take is much better of going, yeah, well, if you're in control of your time, how should you be using?
Yeah, and my goal, you know, I think I'm young.
Yeah.
I'm 40. I'm young. I've got another, hopefully, 50 years.
Yeah.
I hope. But I plan going forward the next 10 to 20 years how I can continue to scale and grow, but I want to scale and grow and get more time.
Yeah.
So what can I implement and put into place to where I don't always have to be present? And I'm probably in the office less than any other team member that we have, but usually my days consist of 5 to 6 hours on the telephone,
Right.
and trying to plan new projects, new construction deals, try to broker deals, and make things happen. So me being in the office is probably a bad thing, because then it's like, oh, I'm gonna go over and see what this section's doing, and I'm gonna go in and kind of micromanage
Sure.
and see. So my team knows if I'm in the office, it's kind of like, uh-oh.
Yeah. What's he doing?
So it's good for me to be out of the office, and I have a nice home office set up where I've got a nice little walking pad, so I'm getting my steps in.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm moving, I'm productive, and that body in motion stays in motion. It helps keep me sharp and keeps me aligned, and makes for just a better environment just in general.
So you're nonstop trying to grow. I mean, you're always trying.
If
you're
in our
moving.
industry, I feel firmly, if you're not growing, you're dying.
Okay.
So it's one of those things where real estate, when it's hot, and when it's not, it's not.
Yeah. So take it while you can get it.
You take the craziness while it's there. Last year I think we added 26, 36 or so roughly new buildings. So we grew a lot last year.
Yeah. And when you say buildings, what are you talking about?
Brand new complexes.
Apartment complex?
Apartment complexes.
Oh, shit.
So we scaled. A lot of them are, I've got ownership in. Some of them we've got limited ownership in.
Oh, so you're
and
not
operate.
buying up old units.
So
you're building complexes.
We'll build new. Some of them I had ownership in already, and management contracts expired, and I took the contracts back, and we do everything in house. So it's a blended thing to where and we've got new opportunities where we partner with new people and help them with their existing properties.
Oh, so you figured out a way to build really good teams everywhere, huh?
So that's the goal, and that's a tough thing to do. And I will give all the credit to my partner Amber. She kicks ass at it. She heads up our operations, the day-to-day for the management company, and she's built an absolutely phenomenal team as we're continuing to grow. So last year she became my partner, and I gave her the president role so I could kind of step out.
Right.
And
she's killing it, huh?
And she's killing it, and I kind of just base on her of like, hey, do I need to go for more contracts? What are we feeling? Like, what's our time frame so I can adjust? And she's like, no, just focus on your new builds or your purchases. We'll hold off on new contracts here. And here's the timeline. Let's shoot for April. April, I'm ready to take on new contracts, go out and find new contracts starting in April.
Dude, that's
so
awesome.
We just have a good dynamic because we're both kind of nonstop, and we're both very meticulous in different ways. So I'm more of the showman visionary, and she's the operator. She's the hardcore, this is how we're going to work. This is how this property is going to cash flow. She's that direct operation
Exactly
person.
what you need.
And, it took me several years to convince her to join my team. We've known each other since we were 10 years old.
Oh.
And she was a regional director for another management company. And I said, hey, here's my vision. This is what I'm going to do. You're going to have to take a significant pay cut, but only for like 5 years at the most. And I said, just give me 24 months. And, another year went by. She's like, no. Another year went by. And she's like, okay, I'm going to do this, but just, don't screw my family over. And
right. I got to feed some kids around here, right?
And so I delivered everything on time and above. And, now she's an owner with me. Dude. And we're just an amazing team, and it's really nice to kind of have a best friend as a business partner in that sense of somebody that you can trust. Yeah. And, her husband's a good friend of mine, and our kids all get along, so it's that family dynamic. Dude. And the team that we build around us, it's, I don't like the word employee, so it's team. Sure. And so we have a wonderful team. We're all team members. Everybody's got their role. I just want everybody to work hard, not be lazy, And if we can perform, we do a lot of fun things together. This summer we took our corporate team down on a wine country trip in southern Illinois.
Oh, cool.
Do things like that. Every year we typically buy a box at Busch Stadium. We'll do Cards Cubs every year because it's always divided.
Sure.
Typically in Central Illinois with Cards Cubs.
Yeah.
So we go down to Busch Stadium. We do that. Get hotels, treat everybody, and so we're all about making it a family feel so we can take care together. Because as we grow as a company, everybody else can grow with us because that's how extra raises come in. That's how this goes. So we've got milestones.
Team.
So,
that's where it's at, dude.
And you just gotta. It starts with everybody. Everybody has their roles, and especially in the development side of things of property management, you can't do one piece without the other. Your administrative side can't get things done without a proper maintenance department. Turning units and getting things done. Without that, you don't have it.
Right.
And so you've got to understand all aspects, and just you pivot when you've got to pivot, and when you're growing and you scaled as much as we did last year, a lot of the things that we did, we kind of flew by the seat of our pants a little bit, and now we know what we're going to do different when the next bout starts, and we've got everything organized and detailed, and we just roll with it.
So does it feel, since you just had a killer year or really productive year, are you kind of looking so far? Do you look far enough out that because at the end of this year, you don't want to, obviously you're going, we're not going to do what we did last year, but does it make you feel like you didn't do what you could do?
Oh, no.
Or you're like, no.
No, we're riding the wave.
Okay.
So it still carries over because a lot of the gains, the financial side of it comes that following year because then you're operating.
Oh, yeah. It's just a hole until it starts rolling.
And when it starts rolling now, it's like things are coming in. We've got the processes, and, we basically cover from Metropolis, Illinois, all the way up to Mount Carroll, Illinois, so far northwest Illinois, and then we just started operating a new property in Aurora, Illinois, so we're in the Chicagoland suburbs now.
Yeah.
So we're here, there, and everywhere, and we've got 56 units over in Terre Haute and looking to continue to expand over in Indiana. So we're just doing what we can to
So you're
keep
building
growing.
like complexes? Is that kind of what it is?
So I prefer to build new on the multifamily side. I'll purchase as well.
Right.
But we like the operation side of it too, where we just go out for the management contracts, and then we're not on the hook for the debt. We're just on the hook for making sure that the property performs for the owners.
So you're going, I'll own it, but I'll also run yours if you own it.
Absolutely. So we're fully integrated. We can go ground up. We've got a general contractor that we've worked with for several years.
Yeah.
And, we built a permanent supportive housing development in Mattoon, Illinois. We've been open for about 15 months. We built that ground up, 89 days, 25 one-bedroom units.
89 days?
89 working days.
Holy smokes, dude.
Fastest one we've ever turned out. And, we can turn out a 56-unit development that's 29 separate buildings with a management office, laundry facility on site. We can turn that out in like 6 months.
Dang, dude.
So we've got an amazing team, and
heck yeah,
very, very blessed. And the general contractor that we work with is the same one that my dad and my partner John have used forever. So he's built probably, 36 apartment complexes for us.
Yeah. Dude, that's amazing time frame though. Golly.
It's fast.
That's cool. Yeah, I guess
you got to push your guys.
I don't take nothing but time and money, and they can make anything happen, right?
Oh yeah.
So,
that's
cool.
And our main niche is affordable housing, and so like the deal in Mattoon that we did was 25 one bedrooms, but it was I got a grant through the state of Illinois, and it was for permanent supportive housing, so it's for individuals on the brink of homelessness.
Okay.
And so a lot of individuals have developmentally disabilities.
So does the state pays you for them, or how does that?
So you work with like service providers, and they get grants for rent. So that way the individuals can have access to ride transportation, counseling services to help get them the services that they didn't have before. So it's Illinois has got a big push to help end homelessness, and it's a great thing because when several years ago when institutionalized housing kind of went away, a lot of individuals got kind of lost and homelessness spiked.
Right.
And so not everybody's homeless because they want to be homeless.
Right.
There's not enough resources out there to help those individuals. And I firmly, if I could, I wish I could end homelessness, because I don't think housing's just a policy. I think it's a basic human right that everybody should have some sort of roof over their head where they can go home and feel safe.
Right.
And I'm very passionate about that. And I think there's a lot of very poor stigmatism around affordable housing. A lot of people think that it's, something that's government subsidized, and we more or less do workforce housing. So it's like a government private industry partnership where if you're awarded tax credits, you sell those to private institutions. And so then I raise capital for these developments. So like a 56 unit, maybe a $20 million project. Well, if I raise $15 million of capital, the investors, they get the write-offs and depreciation for 15 years. Then I go out and I get a loan to cover the difference of the cost, and then I set my rents, and there's yearly income limits for these individuals.
Okay.
So if my rent is $500 for one bedroom, it's $500. It's not subsidized. So they just have to have proof of income. They have to clear a background check, landlord verification. They can't be a felon within the last 7 years.
Okay.
And they meet all those check marks. They're able to get in, and then the Illinois Housing Development Authority sets the yearly income limits per county. So it was a program that got put into place in 1986 by President Reagan in a way to kind of save the government money, but have private developers work with the government utilizing tax credits to have you're building these new developments. Large investors can get some write-offs. The government can help assist create solid workforce housing for lower income individuals that's not subsidized by the government.
Gotcha.
So it's completely different than Section 8 housing.
Okay. So I was going to ask you, I was like, so you're not waiting on anybody at the state to
There's no kickbacks.
monthly? Okay.
No, there's no
Okay.
kickbacks like that.
I would think it would be, and I only say, I can just imagine at times for people who are in that business, when you have like government shutdowns and shit like that, it's like, wait a minute, we're waiting on that check from Uncle Sam.
Yeah.
That'd be tough. I
And
don't know.
obviously, we take vouchers because
Sure.
federal fair housing laws, anybody that owns real estate legally has to take vouchers if that individual meets their background checks
Yeah.
and everything like that. And, so yeah, we'll take vouchers, in our developments. Happy to do it. We work with several different housing authorities across the state. But we firmly believe, workforce housing is so important because with the way that inflation has gone up, the affordability aspect, it's very tough on individuals working minimum wage jobs to find decent, safe, and affordable housing. It's tough, and it's just the
almost non-existent.
It is, and it's tough, and so that's we're mission driven behind that, and that's always been the purpose and my drive is that. And I love the market rate units. I love the the student housing portfolio that we have. I love all of that, but at the end of the day, when you know that you're helping individuals, I can put my head on my pillow every single night knowing that I'm doing something good and putting some good out in the universe.
Yeah.
And helping others. And that goes back to my dad, that the joy in life is giving. And if, we can all be takers, but if you can go out there and make something positive and you're helping individuals that, have a hard time getting ahead, but you're giving them a nice place to live in, and they work hard for their money, and they're great people, and all our tenants are all walks of life.
Right.
And you're doing something good, and you're giving them something that's proud that they can call home. And the way that we develop, we do our own essentially residential neighborhoods of just duplexes, so they're slab on grade. So it has a residential home feeling.
Yeah, it's the neighborhood.
We'll have a playground. We have walking paths, grills, picnic tables. Everybody's got their own covered porches and back porches. We make the units extremely nice.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's amazing then. Good. Huh. Interesting. I mean, there's plenty of other options of directions you could go when you're building. So I think to have something like that you're passionate about is like, that's why you're doing good, dude. You know what I'm saying? I do believe that. You know what I mean? You're doing good. You do good because you do good. I mean, good for you. That's huge, dude.
It's all about helping people.
Yeah.
And, if it was easy, everybody would try to do it.
Yeah.
It's a very niche industry because you have to wait for government approvals on your projects and different things. And, when you bid these jobs, you're bidding them, 12, 15 months before you're actually getting a shovel in the ground. So you have to kind of forecast what you think construction pricing is going to be, and you never know where it's going to be. And most of our jobs are, federal Davis-Bacon. So if a wage changes, then, that comes out of, my pocket,
right?
Because we're not in control of that. And, we work with everybody. Most of my jobs, whenever we build, are about 60-40, 60% union, 40% non-union. We work with everybody.
Yep.
We just want somebody to show up, bust their tail.
Get it done. Yeah.
And, I have no problem with anybody. I just want hard workers. And so that way we can get our building filled up and have our wonderful residents.
Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds like you got that builder leading the show.
He does a good job. And his name's Clifton Howell, C. Howell Construction, out of Cobden, Illinois. And when he's not building, he's got 300-400 head of buffalo, and he has a buffalo farm down in Cobden, Illinois.
Really?
Yeah, it's wild. Pretty cool to see. It's Bison Bluff Farms.
How cool. Bison Bluff Farms. Yeah, I'm going to check that out. That's buffaloes are cool.
Yeah, the meat's fantastic, too.
Yeah, well, how crazy is that? I don't know too many people who herd buffalo on the side.
Yeah, it's a wild thing, and you think like, oh, that's Southern Illinois, there's buffalo down there? Oh, yeah, there's
a lot.
Ungodly amount.
Yeah. Well, okay, dude, we're going to wrap this up, but before, I got one thing. You're an interesting dude. Good for you for, taking what your parents taught you, what you've learned in life, kind of passing it on to your kids, and you stressing how important the team as a family team aspect, how important that is, which that's something I usually like to touch on with people because, again, nobody's doing anything themselves. You know what I mean? We're not in the, you know what I mean? Nobody does anything solo and does it well.
Absolutely. What's the
you
old
could paint a picture, I guess, maybe.
Rome wasn't built in a day, right?
That's right. Yeah.
And,
good for you.
You support yourself with the people that you want to be around. And, I've learned in my first chapter of life, I don't have a big family.
Right.
It's extremely small. I've been burnt by a lot of family members, and the family that I do have, I'm extremely close with. And I've learned that blood doesn't necessarily mean family.
Right.
And so you surround yourself with those close-knit people that are like-minded individuals, and they can become family.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as you've got that support net, it is family.
Yeah.
And you want to build that environment to where it's positivity. And while it's not always going to be positive,
sure,
but you find the way to positive to keep things flowing.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, if I was to leave this world today, I just want my kids to say that I was a good dad. That's all I care about.
Yeah. Well, I think you're probably doing that. So good. Don't leave, though. You got 50 years left.
Absolutely. That's the goal.
If you had, let's just say, if there was 25-year-old that got a bachelor's degree in business, but they're bartending right now because they didn't get a job with their bachelor's. And they want to go the entrepreneur route. They have an idea. What would be, just no matter what their idea is, not industry specific, what is something, if it was like, dude, give me your best piece of advice in any aspect, what would it be?
Don't stop working. It all starts, look at where Mark Cuban was when he graduated from Indiana University, working in a bar to becoming a billionaire. He started in the bar industry.
Yeah.
Don't stop working. Never stop working. Take on as much as you possibly can in that time frame. We only live one time, so take on as much as you possibly can. When you do that and you take on as much as you can, that's when you can drown out the noise. You take out the noise and you find what you want to work on, because you're doing everything. You're taking on so much because when you're young and you don't have the responsibilities of a family or kids, go balls to the wall, because if you're not doing that, you're selling yourself short. Take as much on as you possibly can, drown out the noise, you'll find what you want to focus on.
Bam. Yeah, good one, dude. Do it. Yeah, sometimes life has its way of showing you if you pay attention.
It does, without a doubt.
Yeah, there's a lot of, again, you have to, but, I don't know if you're a godly man or, if you believe in God or any of that stuff. So that's why I kind of refer to it's God, the universe, whatever. But I definitely think that what you get out, what you put out comes back. You do reap what you sow. Karma's a real bitch that exists.
It is. And
she's beautiful or terrible. It's up to you.
Absolutely. And just through all of that, be open to change.
Yeah.
Be ready to pivot.
Yeah.
You have to do that, because you adapt, you're going to win.
Yeah, for sure. Dude, I really appreciate you coming and chatting, man. This was interesting.
Thank you so much for having me. This was awesome.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it.
This is really, really neat, man. You got some good stuff going on, and I just like to see, when good people doing good stuff is huge, man.
Absolutely.
You could be an asshole. You have that option every day.
Yeah, but what good does that do? Because that shit's going to come back and bite you, and it's going to bite you hard.
We remember assholes too, right? You know what I mean? You're like, oh, I know that guy. Yeah. No, good for you.
I like everybody until they don't like me, and then when they don't like me, I just kill them with kindness.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing too, right? All right. Well, yeah, thank you for your time, man. Good luck in everything you have going, man. Which I don't mean to do this, but do you have something that awards you're up for?
I just found out today. A few months ago, my girlfriend and I went down to Miami, and I was selected to be on a television show called Operation CEO. And
sweet.
Yeah, it was a very cool experience. I'd never been on a set before, and they saw me as a veteran, saw that I was a CEO, and selected me to go down, and they filmed a show about my 17 years in real estate and kind of my upbringing, and from my dad, and where I got to where I am today. And it'll live stream on all the streaming services sometime probably second or third quarter. Okay. And one of the reps reached out to me today and put me up for some awards, some service awards, and
that's flattering.
It's very flattering and surprising. It just literally, I got the message before I left, and they gave me my TV poster.
Okay.
My assistant posted it to social media to hopefully gain some votes.
Yeah.
Vote for me,
that
guys on social media. Look me
cool,
up, Jeremy Yost.
Yeah.
Throw some votes my way.
That's why he said be prepared to pivot. He's the next. He's going into movies now.
And so, hell, man, you never know what's going to happen. And
dude.
So that was a very cool experience. And this last year I was Developer of the Year for the state of Illinois, specifically
huge.
For permanent supportive housing and the impact of changing lives and helping try to end homelessness.
Man, Good for you, man. Good job.
So-
I was going to close, and I'm like, wait, I just seen a show. Good for
Yeah,
you, man.
I'm
You're doing
excited.
stuff, man.
Trying.
You're doing stuff.
I had a great mentor, and again, I wouldn't be where I'm at today if my dad, Don Yost, wasn't my dad, because he was my best friend, my mentor. God, toughest job I ever had was working for him. It was so hard, and there is no easy part about being in a family business, but it will make you the toughest SOB when you get through it.
Good, man. Well, good for you, man. I mean, not everybody lives through things. Not everybody decides to learn as they go. Not everyone decides to take advice that they receive. You know what I mean? So good for you. It's paid off. You're having awesome opportunities. You got something cool going.
And when you go through it, like I said, you're 25 and you have that degree,
Yeah.
take on everything you can, because I'm a firm believer that any opportunities left on the table is something that you could miss that could be life-changing.
Bam. There you go. Well, hey, thanks, guys, for joining us on this episode. Hey, check this guy out. I'll put a link to his social media here. Go on there and vote for him. Let's make him be that. We don't even know what the stream is about yet, but we're going to celebrate him for it already.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. All right, well, you guys, we'll catch you in a week. Until then, be kind to each other. Thanks. Take care. Quick shout out to our partners, W Energy, clean energy, no crash. Use code BeyondBiz at w.gg for 10% off. Oakwood Screen Printing, custom apparel done right, from small runs to big orders. And Midwest Lightning Rods, protecting homes and businesses from lightning strikes across the Midwest. Now let's go.
Yo, we on business. Yo, we out here hitting that grind. Podcast vibes, letting loose, unwind. Next on the mic, yeah, he flexing with pride. Meeting dope souls, taking you on the ride. Talking about life, not just that paper. Doing it big, ain't no time for a hater. People yap behind his back, but we rise like the sun. Gather round, fam, we just having some fun. Beyond business, it's a vibe, feel that thrill, getting intimate. May even get your heart filled. Meeting the legends, those raw and real. Digging deep thoughts, show you how to feel. From the block to the boardroom, we making that move. Beyond business, baby, yeah, we got the groove. Shout out to the hustlers, the real street thugs. We all eat together, no need for the drugs. Yeah, you blessed with the gift, determined to thrive. Nick's breaking it down, keeping that fire alive. Let's go deep like the ocean, no bluff. Beyond business, baby, we can't get enough.